Good day, everyone. Welcome to my show. Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz. I'm your host, Gail Dixon McBride, and I'm so very, very happy you could join me today. And today, as I always say and begin my show, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And if you tuned in today, you are in for a very special treat. I have a person that I have been friends with for a very long time. We actually went to Hampton University. Actually, back in the day, it was Hampton Institute. And my friend and she is none other than she's just a wonderful person. She's an evangelist, and she's a spoken word artist, a poet, natural health coach, spiritual coach, and children's book author. But I'm going to tell you all about her in a moment. But I'm going to tell you her name is Dr. Emily Grant DeCarlo. And so let me tell you now, you're in for a wonderful treat. She's going to tell us all about what she does. She has an institute, and it's the Grant DeCarlo Institute for the Healing Arts. The Grant DeCarlo Institute for the Healing Arts. And I'm telling you, you are going to really be excited to hear what she has to say about health and wellness and how you can stay healthy and happy. So let me tell you a little more about Dr. Emily DeCarlo. So she also has a line of art posters and prints called Love Lights, and is in several locations, including South Hill, Virginia, and MJ's Gallery in Hopewell, Virginia. Dr. Grant DeCarlo has been performing as a spoken word artist and poet for many years. And although COVID slowed down things somewhat, she is planning to expand her career as a spoken word artist. Her latest poetry CD is called Journey, and she loves sparking creativity, the creativity, ingenuity, and passion of Christ in life in others via the spoken word and poetry. Dr. DeCarlo also likes to collaborate with other artists and craft people to bring the spoken word to her audience in order to send a message of hope, love, unity, and perhaps healing. So she has a blog, but I'll let her tell you about that later in the show. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome my special guest, Dr. Emily Grant DeCarlo.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am great, my dear friend Gail. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning. It is always a pleasure, whether I talk to you on the phone or whether I see you in person. And it is indeed euphoric to be here with you this morning on the Partners in Biz, Health and Biz
Partners in
podcast.
Biz. Yes. So I'm so very happy that you were able to join me. Isn't technology wonderful? We are not even in the same location, but we are broadcasting this via our Zoom, and this is going to be seen on Spotify for podcasters, Apple Music. It's going to be on Zencaster, wherever you find your podcast, you'll be able to see and hear this interview. So I am so excited because I want to ask Dr. Grant some questions, and we're going to have a little conversation, and it's going to be wonderful. So this Dr. Grant, your Grant DeCarlo Institute for the Healing Arts. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? It sounds so exciting.
Well, you know what? I have been interested in this a long time. My grandmother was a healer, and I grew up with polio and some other maladies, and it was fascinating to see her go to work on me.
Right.
And she had different things in her garden. She had the mint leaves, and she had catnip tea. She made catnip tea from the little leaves, and She also had bitter root and sassafras
Wow.
roots, and she used all of this for healing.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in fact, got me prepared for my surgeries for my back. So that's something that motivated me
Mm-hmm.
to do healing naturally because she, for, and she being my grandmother, for all intent and purposes, was a healer. So that's one of the things that motivated me.
Mm.
And another was that I actually started out hoping to be a doctor.
Really?
And I, that's how I got to Hampton because my roadmap was to go to Hampton and get a degree in nursing, an RN, a BSN, a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and then take the MedCat and go on to an Institute of Medicine.
Okay.
So I am motivated by my grandmother and also motivated by my interest in healing, natural healing. Because when I did go to the BSN program and did an internship, I found out that I hate the sight of blood. And
You
then,
and me both.
and that motivated me to look at alternatives.
Okay. Wonderful. Wow. So you have, I understand, an extensive background. So what is your background and experience that actually led you to be able to create this institute?
Well, I majored in the sciences, hoping to get a BSN in nursing. And that background was so interesting to me. That background prepared me to go on and do what I do now, in addition to getting, as you have also, a diploma in natural health.
Yes. Yes.
And all of that gave me the background, the science in the BSN program. I took pharmacology for nurses, so I know how to compute medical doses and also anatomy and physiology and studying microbiology, looking at those little germs that cause illnesses and understanding them, looking through them at the microscope. So that background has really prepared me to have an institute. And right now, it is not in a building, but I operate through technology.
Okay.
Right now, I can do consultations through Zoom.
Excellent.
And I taught one class actually over the phone to a student who was dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the question, that extensive background in the health sciences has prepared me, and the natural health diploma, in which I learned herbs and how to blend the herbs, and I learned about the modalities, the
Right.
different modalities
Mm-hmm.
like Ayurvedic medicine, and also I learned about the homeopathic medicine and all of those different alternatives, all of those natural modalities for healing.
Right. That's
And it really has prepare me along with other extensive studying. And I'm just excited about it because I am also a student as well as a practitioner. I am continuously learning, and that prepares me to do what I do also.
wonderful. Wonderful. So you see your clients, you said you have a variety of different methods. You can use Zoom, you can talk to them over the phone and interview. I guess, they can call you and you can do face
Yes,
FaceTime or Facebook Live.
yes,
So there are different ways that you can interview your clients. And so I'm sure your clients are very excited, to find out how you can help them. So maybe you can give an example of how you've helped one or two of your clients and how that made them feel.
Yes. Well, one was a student in my class. The class is called Condensed Course in Wellness. And that can be ordered through ebook too, and the person can go through and they can answer questions to integrate the information into their frame of thinking. And also, I go person to person. I did before COVID. I would actually go in the home. So one person in particular, she was just delightful. And I love working with her. Although she had a lot of maladies, she took about 17 different pills. And I was surprised, at her taking that many, but her spirit was good. She had a willing spirit to get off of those medications, or at least some of them, because one medication caused another malady, and then she had to have a medication for that malady that the medication caused. And it was just amazing to see all of that, the causality of taking so many medicines. So my consultation involved, first of all, doing an assessment of her. Where was she? How many medicines? And what are those medicines? And what are the effects of those medicines on the body? And it was intriguing just to see that she did not have this malady at first, but now she does because of the medicine. So one of the things, one of the goals was to decrease her amount of medications. And that involved a consultation between her and her doctors. I became a part of that medical team. And that's what my intention is, to not necessarily take the place of traditional medicine, but serve as complementary to that, to what you're doing, what the doctor has advised. So that consultation also included her talking to them, talking to the traditional medical team and seeing how she could decrease the dosage or decrease that medicine altogether. So that is one example of a consultation with a client. And I really just enjoyed seeing her decrease her medicines, the amount of medicines. That just gave me a lot of hope that she would get better, because those medicines can cause disease. They can cause dis-ease in the body. They can cause the liver to dysfunction. They can cause the kidney to dysfunction. They can cause the heart not to function like it should. So it gave me great pleasure to see her begin to get better as her medicines decrease.
Absolutely. So there are these side effects. That's what it is. And a lot of people, when you talk about natural medicine, sometimes they don't want to hear about natural medicine. They've been going to their medical doctor for years, and they're taking, like you said, 10, 15, 20 even sometimes different medications, and they don't realize that they think the doctors are making them better with the medications, but the side effects. And as we know, when we watch television and they talk about the medications, they act like these commercials makes it seem like these are going to be medications that are going to help you. But then at the end of the commercial, they start listing 10, 15 different side effects that you could have as a result of taking these medications. So it's very important that we talk to people like you, Dr. Grant, who can help clients and help people to understand that there are natural ways of healing the body, and that over for centuries there have been different types of medications that people have used to heal their body without using these medications that can cause side effects. So I'm so happy that you're doing this and you are helping so many people. And so what would you say is the essence of your business? What would
It is a holistic approach,
you...
body, mind, and spirit. And I even use poetry as part of my approach to healing because I am also a poet and I have a book. It is also a workshop called Poetry for Healing. And I use that to help bring out what is inside of the person. We actually write little poems because poems are stories. And you can tell a whole world with a poem. And then once everybody in the group begins to share that poem, they are sharing their life. They're sharing hopes. They're sharing dreams. And so as they share that, everybody's just receiving it and everybody's in agreement. This is a accepting environment. And then the person gets to write a new story in the form of a poem and share that too. What are your hopes? What are your aspirations? And they get to put that out there in this beautiful little story, this little poem, but yet a poem that tells the whole world in an accepting, warm, nurturing environment.
I like that. Wow,
I hope I answered the question fully.
yeah, that's the essence of your business, what you do and how you help people.
Yeah, that's one aspect because it is body, mind, and spirit. And I do workshops in other areas like condensed course in wellness. I teach that course, and that's how I help. And I also do this in the form of big groups going to organizations. I went to a church in Dinwiddie and I taught like the whole 9 yards. I started with kitchen cabinet wellness, how you can use the different things in your cabinet. And you probably have more than you realize that will lead to wellness, like rosemary, and also the cayenne pepper that may be in a little jar in your cabinet, and other spices, the different spices, like you have ginger
Yeah.
and just different things. You have black pepper already, probably in your cabinet that you cook with. So I point out these things in my workshop about how they will help you to maintain your wellness. And
Excellent.
it's a lot more. I also teach about different, like the 25 foods that help fight cancer. And there are a lot of those. And I teach about the components in those foods. What is it? What are the chemicals in those foods that help to combat cancer? And I was diagnosed in September of 2018. And I did not do the chemo or any of that, but I teach people about the numbers also. Like you might have stage 4, but what number in stage 4?
Hmm.
You might have stage 4, but what's your radiological number? And there's different numbers that will guide your treatment. And a lot of people may not know that. And that's not something that they may say to you. Do you know your numbers? Let me tell you your radiological number. But if you know about that, you can ask that question and that will inform your treatment also. So I do all of that. I try to teach in my in this enterprise.
Oh, that's great. That is well. I That's the first time I've heard about. I've known and I have some friends who had cancer, and some people had told me their relatives, and when they talk to me, say, well, they have stage 4 cancer, but when they say they have stage 4 cancer, usually that means that well, they don't have that long to live in a lot of instances. At least that's what a lot of people believe. But then when you say there are numbers to, like,
Yes.
the beginning of cancer,
Right.
diagnosed, or if they had it for, maybe 5 years and it had progressed to stage 2 or stage 3,
Yes.
stage 4. So, um,
Like what stage is your stage? you know. So you got to know all of that too, so you can be better informed.
mhm.
So you will know what path to take. Now, when they told me, I did an assessment and I determined that I was not going to go forth with anything else. I was not going to go forth with the chemo. I was not going forth with radiation. And I got my tattoo. They actually prepared me. They gave me a tattoo where they were going to inject the radiation. And then, and my daughter was alive at that time, and she was like, Mama, you know better. And so it gave me a jolt of reality. I know better. Let me ask more questions so that I can determine if this is a suitable avenue for me to take, and it wasn't. So I didn't. And I don't mind being transparent about it because maybe it will inform someone else so that they can take a closer look. They can look at the numbers, they can ask questions and make a more informed decision. So I don't mind being transparent and open about it if it is going to help someone else to make a better decision about their own health and wellness.
Right. I know everyone is different, but in your case, for example, since you didn't do the chemo and the radiation, what did you actually decide that you were going to use to heal your body? What were some of the things that and the methods and the herbs and vitamins and supplements and things that you used that helped in your particular case to heal your body?
Well, one very primary thing was prayer.
Uh,
And I rubbed my hands together and I laid them on myself
Laying hands. Mm-hmm.
and I prayed.
Yes.
Also, I was aware of different foods that fight cancer. I was aware also of your attitude. You need to have an attitude of healing, acceptance of your healing in your body, because you are healed already and you have to embrace that. The healing virtue is in you, and you have to embrace that virtue that I am healed. I will let my body do its perfect work of healing.
Yes.
And there are different foods that you eat. In some cultures, people do not even, you don't hear too much of cancer because they eat hot peppers, you know, in some cultures. And peppers have cancer fighting agents like capsaicin. That's a cancer fighting agent that is in peppers. And it's so many. I could be here all day listing them. But pectin, have you heard of pectin?
Yes.
Well, pectin is in apples.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Remember that? We were taught that. Well, what they are talking about is pectin.
All right, wonderful. Yes, that is what you and I both agree is about natural healing and eating healthy foods, making sure that we're eating fresh fruits and vegetables and clean water and fresh water. And we are, exercising, getting out and walking and getting that fresh air. And also I do deep breathing every day.
Yes, yes.
That helps the body with the blood circulating through your body and getting that air moving through your body. So this is wonderful. So we are so blessed that you are blessed that you were able to use all the knowledge that God has given you and with prayer and everything that you learned over the years that brought you to where you are to help you with the Grant DeCarlo Institute for Healing. And so we did mention a little while ago, right before we actually started the interview, and I wanted to ask you about the chemical composition of wellness. What, in your opinion, is the chemical composition of wellness?
Well, it isn't an exact formula, but there are different chemicals in the body that the body produces itself that lead to wellness, especially serotonin and dopamine. Those are two that help with anxiety. Serotonin actually will help against depression. When the serotonin levels are low in your body, you may experience a chemical imbalance, which will cause you to feel depressed. So the serotonin helps to elevate your mood. Dopamine. Dopamine is produced in the body. And when we exercise, we increase it. We increase dopamine. You were talking about exercise, Gail, and that is so important. It increases that happy drug, I call that dopamine. So now you feel a sense of being able to accomplish. You feel this sense of wellness that you are okay. Dopamine helps you to feel that you can achieve. You feel happy. And that exercise that you talked about brings that on. Mm-hmm. So exercise is a great way to increase these chemicals in the body. And then we have triglycerides that people talk about, that might lead to different illnesses. And we need to watch that. We don't need to add some things because the body makes it. Like we don't need to add a lot of cholesterol because the body makes it. Right. So we have to watch our dietary intake because of the chemical composition of the body, what's already in there. Right. And so we can help it by not putting some things in there, and then we can help like increase the serotonin and the dopamine by exercise so that we do not have to use drugs. We don't have to be antidepressant routes when it comes to feeling happy. A lot of times we want a pill for everything. We want a pill to feel happy. Sometimes we do need to feel what we feel right then and then release it. Like with you were talking about the deep breathing. And one method of deep breathing is the 4-7-8 method, which Dr. Well, I think he's out there in California, but he talks about that. But that helps us to relax. Now, getting back to the chemical, that serotonin, and getting back to the dopamine, when you're relaxed in a state of relaxation, then the body can produce freely what it needs to produce. It can keep you in that state of wellness. And that's what I call the chemical composition, all the different chemicals that's already in your body. And I expressly talked about the serotonin and the dopamine because a lot of people are depressed now. Some people, you talk to them and they have that sense of hopelessness.
Sorry, didn't even cut you off, but we are almost out of time. So I do want to give you a chance to tell the listeners and the audience about how they can reach you and if they would like to make an appointment to see you. And I add that stress causes a lot of physical issues. And like what you said, if we can relax, and we have a thing that we say for our walk of healing is reflect, release, receive, reflect, release, and receive. Reflect about what's happening during the day, month, week. Reflect, release it to the Lord, and then receive his blessings. So, so thank you so much, Emily. Would you be kind enough to bless us with how we can get in contact with you? All the many ways.
One way is by telephone, 804-368-4665. 804-368-4665. And by email, Emily DeCarlo @gmail.com. Emily DeCarlo @gmail.com. And also, I have a Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/the Grant DeCarlo Institute. Facebook.com, the Grant DeCarlo Institute. And I will be waiting to hear from you, to set up an appointment, to share with you some of the other things of my endeavor. But I feel that we don't just have to focus on growing old, getting sick, and dying.
Right.
Let's live while we live and maintain good, godly health.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Gail. It has just been exciting. It's always exciting to be in your presence.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And I just want to, we have about 1:34 left before the end of the show. And I just want to tell everyone to go out, get some fresh air and sunshine. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, and I am on Spotify for podcasters, and you can also find me wherever wherever you see or hear your podcast. And you can email me. You can email me partnersinhealth@verizon.net, or you can email me gdixonmcbride@gmail.com. Until next Saturday, everyone, stay healthy and business savvy. Have a blessed day, everyone. Ta-ta for now. Okay.